Hello and welcome everyone. On today's video, we will be talking about how Susan Smith brutally murdered her two kids just so she can marry a wealthy man. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on the bell icon to get notified on our future videos. This really helps to support the channel.
I'd like to say to whoever has my children that they please bring them home.
Born September 26, 1971, Susan Smith, a 50-year-old woman, also known as a South Carolina mom who was convicted of 2 counts of murder and is now serving a life sentence which she has already spent more than 26 years in a South Carolina jail. From an early age, Susan Smith lived in a troubled environment, in a middle-class family that was overly concerned with appearances. Susan Smith's childhood was disturbing due to a tumultuous marriage between her parents. They divorced when she was 7 years old, and soon after, her father Harry, aged 37, committed suicide. Her mother Linda, weeks after her divorce, took up a new relationship with Bev Russell, a successful local businessman. Linda and her children moved from their small modest home to Bev's house, located in a great location in the city. Susan had been a sad and introspective child. Her mother was never good at solving her emotional problems, and her father's suicide seemed to create a wound that never healed. On the outside everything looked good, but Susan carried with her a big family secret. At the age of 16, her stepfather started to consistently molest her. In the summer of 1988, Susan got a temporary job as a cashier at a local grocery store. What was only supposed to last a few months, resulted in a promotion to accountant at the store. At this time Susan was having sex with at least 3 men, and in this same period, Susan began to have a relationship with David, who was also a co-worker. At that time David was already engaged to another woman but broke it off to be with Susan. She soon became pregnant and they decided to get married. Susan and David Smith were married on March 15, 1991 and moved into David's great-grandmother's home. October 10, 1991 was a happy day as the couple had their first child. Despite the family turmoil, the child was long awaited and loved. The two had always proved to be good parents. But something was not right in their relationship. Susan was extremely materialistic and always borrowed money from her mother, and this irritated David. In March 1992, the couple separates, and in November 1992, the couple resumed their relationship upon the news of Susan's new pregnancy. David never questioned the paternity of the child despite their separation. After the birth of their second son, Alexander Tyler, on August 5, 1993, David and Susan resumed their relationship, but within 3 weeks David once again moved out and they decided that the relationship was over. Quickly after breaking things off with David, Susan started going out with another man, Tom. Tom and Susan quickly began a casual relationship in January 1994, and by September she was dating Tom Findley and planning their future together. Tom, meanwhile, was trying to figure out how he would end his relationship with Susan. Tom Findley will however send Susan a letter breaking off their relationship. Lieutenant took Susan by surprise. The letter gave reasons justifying the end of the relationship, as Tom stated he couldn't be with a woman who already had kids with another man. It was October 25, 1994. Susan was at work. She seemed very nervous and asked to leave work early. Susan was devastated by the end of that evening. She called her friend who she knew was having dinner with Tom and friends. Susan had asked if Tom had said anything about her, but he didn't say anything. She was really obsessed her relationship with Tom. It seemed to be the first time she had ever been rejected by a man. Around 8 p.m., Susan, in desperation, puts her 2 children in the car. The children were hastily put in their car seats, with no shoes on. She went to Lake John and drove up a ramp, got out of the car, put the car in movement, released the parking brake, and watched the car with her children sleeping in the back seat, sank into the lake. That day, she told deputies they had been taken by an unidentified black man during a carjacking, and she wept on national television as she and her husband David begged for their safe return. But her story quickly unraveled and she was forced to admit she had strapped her kids into the back of her car, and let it roll into a lake. Her defense attorneys, David Bruck and Judy Clark, called expert witnesses to testify that she had mental health issues that impaired her judgment when she committed the crimes. The contempt for Susan was overwhelming, not only because of the racial tension triggered by the false accusation of a black man, but because her motive was extremely futile and selfish, to get rid of her children in order to maintain a relationship with a rich man. Smith was sentenced to life in prison for 2 counts of murder, but she continued to find herself in trouble behind bars, receiving at least 5 infractions for self-mutilation and the use and possession of narcotics or marijuana, among other things. In 2000, then 28, she was disciplined for having sex 4 times with 50-year-old prison guard Houston Cagle, who was later jailed for 3 months for the affair. Smith confessed to the sexual encounter with Cagle after testing positive for an STI. Smith was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years. According to the South Carolina Department of Corrections, she will be eligible for parole on November 4, 2024. She is incarcerated at the Leith Correctional Institution near Greenwood, South Carolina. Smith, now 50, has reportedly started a long-distance relationship with an unnamed man, with the hopes that the relationship will continue if she's released on parole in November 2024. The unknown man, a divorcee who reportedly works in home construction and has 2 adult children, was described as being in his 40s and living just outside the state capital of Columbia. According to reports, the mystery man allegedly wrote to Smith after seeing a documentary about her and her crimes.
That will be all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell us what you think about Susan Smith and her actions in the comment section. Please like and subscribe to support the channel.